Just 20 minutes by train from central London, Richmond feels far removed from the pace of the city. Set along the River Thames, its peaceful scenery resembles a small English town far more than a part of London itself. Often regarded as one of the most desirable places to live in the capital, Richmond is known for the way nature and urban life exist in perfect balance. On Richmond Green, people stroll beneath old trees at an unhurried pace, while along the Riverside, locals sit outside pubs and cafes, watching the Thames drift by. And nearby, Richmond Park offers one of London's rare chances to truly escape into nature. For centuries, Richmond has inspired artists and writers. In paintings and literature, it has long been portrayed as a place of beauty, calm, and quiet elegance. More recently, it became familiar to audiences around the world through the television series Ted Lasso. The Prince's Head pub appeared regularly as the local pub where Ted and Coach Beard shared drinks, while just beside it lies the narrow and picturesque lane known as Paved Court, home to the house used as Ted's residence in the series. Richmond's historical importance, however, stretches back much further. In the late 15th century, King Henry VII chose this very area for the construction of Richmond Palace. At the time, central London had already become crowded and chaotic, and the king sought somewhere quieter and more pleasant beyond the city. Richmond was ideal, easily accessible along the Thames, yet distant enough to offer privacy while remaining close to the centre of power. The town itself still retains much of its historic charm. Small cafes, independent shops, and narrow streets create an atmosphere that feels unmistakably British. Richmond Station also stands out, its elegant Art Deco facade dating back to the 1930s. Despite being on the edge of London, the area remains exceptionally well connected, with both railway and underground lines serving the town. Walking along Brewers Lane, lined with charming storefronts, visitors eventually arrive at Richmond Green. Surrounded by centuries-old buildings and mature trees, the green feels less like a public square and more like a vast private garden. Long ago, this open space was used for grazing livestock, before later becoming associated with the royal palace and its stables. It even served as a venue for royal jousting tournaments and ceremonial gatherings attended by nobles and courtiers. Today, perhaps the most quintessentially English scene here is the sight of cricket being played on the grass. On warm afternoons, the sound of bat against ball has become part of Richmond's timeless character. Along the Thames, elegant Georgian and Victorian houses continue to line the riverbank. Built for wealthy residents during the 18th and 19th centuries, these homes are recognized by their balanced windows and warm brick facades. Many have since been transformed into restaurants and pubs, allowing visitors to enjoy a pint beside gardens and terraces. Crossing the river is Richmond Bridge, completed in 1777 and still one of the oldest surviving bridges over the Thames in London. On the way towards Richmond Park lies Richmond Hill, where one of London's most celebrated views unfolds. From here, the Thames curves gracefully through the landscape below. The painter William Turner was captivated by this very scene and painted the view from Richmond Hill, a work that can still be seen today at Tate Britain. Richmond Park itself is the largest of London's royal parks. Originally created as a royal hunting ground, it covers nearly 1,000 hectares. What makes the park especially remarkable is how much of its ancient landscape has survived almost unchanged since medieval times. Old oak woodlands spread across the park, while red deer, fallow deer, and roe deer continue to roam freely. Despite being within London, the atmosphere often feels closer to the English countryside or even the wild. Yet hidden within the park is a very different kind of landscape. Isabella Plantation is a secluded woodland garden filled with ponds, flowers, and winding paths. In spring, the azaleas and rhododendrons burst into colour, transforming the area into one of the park's most beautiful corners. The park is also home to Pembroke Lodge, a grand residence once occupied by Prime Minister Lord John Russell during the Victorian era. Today, it serves as a cafe, restaurant, and popular wedding venue overlooking sweeping views of the Thames Valley. And finally, at the park's highest point, King Henry's Mound offers one of Richmond's most remarkable sights. On a clear day, a protected view stretches all the way to the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral, 16 kilometers away, while Windsor Castle can also be seen in the distance. For more than 500 years, city planning regulations have carefully preserved this historic view, a reminder of just how deeply Richmond's landscape is woven into the history of England.